Join us for the fascinating story of Operation Paperclip. In May of 1945, the Third Reich was in complete disarray. Adolf Hitler was gone, Germany's surrender was imminent, and Allied forces had already started dividing up German territories. But there was one high-ranking Nazi engineer who remained oddly calm amidst the chaos: Wernher von Braun. Rather than flee, von Braun proactively reached out to the US government, informing him of his location and waiting patiently for their arrival. As the mastermind behind the world's first long-range ballistic missile, he knew his expertise made him a valuable asset in a world preparing for a new type of conflict. And von Braun wasn't the only Nazi scientist receiving this type of preferential treatment. Although World War II was coming to an end, a new war was on the horizon: the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union were scrambling to recruit the brightest German scientists before the other side could secure them. This secretive initiative, known as Operation Paperclip, ended up bringing over 1,500 German scientists to America between 1945 and 1962. The program's name came from the paperclips attached to the files of early recruits, marking details about their Nazi ties that were deemed inconsequential. One such recruit, von Braun, had previously overseen an SS-run project that used forced labor from concentration camp prisoners. Despite this, he was welcomed warmly in the United States, like many others. Identifying these scientists required significant effort. Some were captured or recruited through a Nazi-compiled list that someone had unsuccessfully tried to flush down a toilet. The Americans weren't alone in this race. The Soviets were also determined to claim German expertise, using both bribes and forced relocations to secure key individuals. Meanwhile, the French and British, lacking sufficient resources, resorted to kidnapping scientists or stealing patents and dismantling factories to learn what they could. The US strategy, however, offered something particularly compelling: the promise to relocate entire German families and grant them US citizenship. This controversial arrangement is part of why Operation Paperclip was initially kept hidden. But secrecy became harder to maintain as German scientists began appearing across the United States. In late 1946, the military decided to disclose the program to the press to get ahead of any potential backlash. However, the revelation sparked immediate criticism from prominent figures like Albert Einstein and Eleanor Roosevelt, along with organizations such as the NAACP and veterans groups. They were upset that former Nazis were being granted citizenship while millions of war refugees and survivors had no such opportunity. Despite these protests, the increasing tensions of the Cold War strengthened the argument for retaining these scientists to prevent their expertise from falling into Soviet hands. Von Braun's Nazi past remained largely concealed from the public, and he became one of America's most influential engineers during the space race. In 1958, his team responded to the Soviet launch of Sputnik with the successful US satellite launch. By the 1960s, he was the chief architect of the Saturn V rocket, which eventually took Americans to the moon. Other recruits contributed to developing chemical weapons like Agent Orange, pharmaceutical research, and advancements in aviation technology. The US government portrayed Operation Paperclip as a major success. Yet, in hindsight, it's difficult to measure its true value. While von Braun undoubtedly accelerated American rocket development, it's possible that US scientists could have reached similar breakthroughs independently. Furthermore, very few paperclip scientists were as exceptional as von Braun. Many were ordinary researchers who either returned to Germany after their contracts or worked alongside American scientists of comparable skill. Ultimately, whether Paperclip was a success or not is just one of many contentious questions the project raises. Can scientists working on military technology claim to be apolitical? Do urgent military and political priorities justify turning a blind eye to wartime atrocities? Perhaps von Braun's career itself is the clearest reflection of Operation Paperclip's moral ambiguity. As one obituary put it, a kind of Faustian shadow may be discerned in the fascinating career of Wernher von Braun, a man so driven by intellectual ambition that any compromise may have seemed justified. For more videos, please like and subscribe.